Hello gold farmers, welcome to another Grown Not Farming video. Today I am going to go over the top 5 shuffles and flips for alchemy that can yield you quite a bit of gold. These are ones that I use very often, and I haven't really used them recently just because I have taken a fairly long break from WoW, and I do have a bit of catching up to do for getting these shuffles back up and going. But to start things off, we will start with the Arcanate and the Arcanite bar. So for Alchemists, I highly recommend that you get your Master Transmute or Transmute Master. So that way you have a chance of proccing some extra Arcanite bars. I'm trying to get, there it goes. As you can see with the Transmute Master, that is what is giving me the ×2, and you can get that up to ×5 if you are lucky enough. The Arcanite bar is selling roughly for 400 gold on my server. You can go out and farm for the arcane crystals yourself. You can get them to drop from thorium, which my favorite spot for farming thorium is Silithus and Winter Spring. Those two are some of the best locations to farm for thorium, mostly because you have a high chance of them being rich thorium. The Arcanite bar is used in several different transmog items and just has a lot of value for those people who are trying to collect the transmog items. As far as the next shuffle goes, it will be the Titanium shuffle, which you take 8 of the Saronite bars, which I highly recommend that you just go out and farm your Saronite. It's a lot cheaper than buying it off the auction house because Saronite bars are selling for quite a bit right now. I mean, you can farm the Saronite and sell it raw if you want, but you can make quite a bit more gold off of it if you transmute it into titanium. However, you have to be a transmute master for this method to work and for it to work at its best. This because it takes quite a bit of the Saronite bars to craft one, and the proc is where you are making a lot of your gold. By doing it this way without a transmute master, you are pretty much breaking even with the amount of gold that you could be making with Saronite bars compared to titanium. The 8 bars sell for roughly the same amount of gold the titanium does, so the Transmute Master is definitely a huge must for the Titanium Shuffle. However, this is my most profitable one out of the 5 shuffles. The Arcanite one is my 3rd most profitable one. Then if I can find it, your Trillium bar is the 2nd most profitable one. For me anyways. Again, for this one, Transmute Master is a must, and I highly recommend that you go and farm the Ghost Iron ore. I have several routes up on where to farm it, so I highly suggest that you check those out too. I should have a playlist of it up somewhere, and I will leave that in the description below. The Trillium is used in a lot of transmog recipes, and so is titanium. I forgot to mention that. The Trillium bar is selling for about 200 gold on my server. Regionally, it's going for about 300 gold. As for titanium, it is going for about 400 gold on my server, but regionally it is going for roughly 500 gold. So you can be making quite a bit of gold off of these flips. I do recommend that you check the auction house though for some of these materials, just in case if you happen to get lucky and find some that's pretty cheap. I've made quite a bit of gold off of doing it that way too. I'll just check the auction house to see if it's cheap, and sometimes I'll get lucky and find a couple of stacks that are selling pretty cheap on the auction house, especially with the arcane crystals. For our next one, this is my fourth most profitable method, and a lot of times I don't really sell these on the auction house. I use them for myself, but when I get an overabundance I will try to sell them on the auction house. This will be the potion of treasure finding, which I did just recently go over a video of it, but it's a pretty pricey potion to craft as far as the amount of herbs it takes, and as much as the herbs actually cost. They cost quite a bit of gold for being a old content herb. The whipetail is very easy to get a hold of. Same with the heart blossom and cinder bloom. Those are all pretty easy herbs to get of, but yet they sell for quite a bit, so if you want to go out and just farm those, you can, but you're better off trying to get the stormvine and turning them into the potion of treasure finding, so that way you can increase a small amount of gold from them. Now you can either keep the potion of treasure finding and increase your gold even more that way, or you can try to sell it on the auction house for the 600 to 1k gold it is worth. In my opinion, I would just hold on to it and use it to farm, because not many of you will be farming for the large abundance of potion of treasure finding as I do and have. I got 114 of these, so the chances of me going through all of those is pretty slim, so I would post those on the auction house. For the last shuffle, if my alchemy tab will open up again, it will be the transmute of essence of earth, or not essence of earth, but the sorceress earth. This is very profitable because the sorceress earth is used to craft your hexweave bags. If I remember correctly, it takes 20 of these to craft one bag. I could be wrong, it's been a while since I have looked at the bags or made any myself, but what you do is you'll want to look on the auction house for cheap sorcerer's air, water, and fire. You can also get on the auction house and look for some cheap alchemical catalysts, which will definitely help you make a decent amount of gold from these. They are selling for about 4 gold on my server, but regionally they're going for about 10. Usually I try to buy the other elementals at roughly 1 gold, 1 to 2 gold, depending on how I'm feeling that day. And the reason why is because it takes 10 to craft 10 of the other sorcerers. So if I spent 20 gold for 10 of the sorcerers of air and turned them into the sorcerers of earth, I'd be profiting about 20 gold, depending on if I bought the catalysts or if I made them myself. That will be all, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content.